So ADA ended up tapping into the wave high target, sitting between 48.38 cents to 52.35 cents. And in addition to that, you can also see that we ended up breaching past this local low at 51.1 cents. And that then further confirmed that we were bearish. And once we ended up seeing this move to the downside, we've seen the bulls actually regain control of the market. And there is a possibility that we could actually retest that 50 EMA, which during the time of recording sits at 55.3 cents. And so what I'll do is break down this structure that's taken place over the last few hours. And yeah, straight away I can see that this move looks to be made up of a corrective move as opposed to a impulsive move, where what we had was a double XY structure, with this being a W wave, this being an X wave, and this being a Y wave. So what I'll do very quickly is check to see if that Y wave met the typical requirements. And yeah, you can see that ADA would reach anywhere between 54.46 cents to 55 cents. So anywhere within this region here, which we tapped into, where we ended up actually reaching 54.81 cents. And so yeah, it's possible now that we see a move to the downside. And two things could be taking place right now, where we could have a bigger move to the upside, where this WXY structure will make up the W wave. And then we have a retracement to the downside to complete the X wave, followed by a final push to the upside, where that Y wave could actually breach this key level at 56.13 cents. Or, of course, the alternative could be that we have completed this move to the upside and then we see that further push to the downside, where we then break past this local low at, if I mark that out, 51 cents. And so if I remove this, since we no longer need it. So yeah, it's possible that we ended up topping off and we see that move to the downside, where we then breach past this local low at 51 cents. Now, in order for us to be bullish, then we need ADA to retrace towards the 1.618 retracement level, which sits at 55.87 cents. And should that be the case, then that will then trigger a 5-wave move as opposed to a double XY structure, where essentially this would be the wave 1, this would be the wave 2, the wave 3 would reach the 1.618 retracement level, and then we see a small retracement to the downside, followed by a final push to the upside to complete that 5th wave. And should that be the case, then it will be possible that we end up bottoming out at 51 cents, and then we see a further push to the upside. So if I remove this and go back to the hourly chart, what you can see also is we have now maxed out on the stochastic RSI, where we've reached 100. So if I just make that smaller a little bit, so as you can see, we've maxed out now on the stochastic RSI, and so it does look like the bulls are now slowly starting to lose that momentum, and we could see the bears regain control of the market. And here you can also see that the bulls actually failed to retest that 50 EMA, which is slightly bearish, despite seeing a nice push to the upside, where we've made a move of around 7.5%. And so, yeah, despite seeing this nice move to the upside, we are still slightly bearish, given the fact that we failed to retest that 50 EMA. And so, again, we could potentially see the bears regain control of the market, given that we are maxed out on the stochastic RSI. And if I go in the 4-hour chart, you can again see that we are reaching that overbought region, and the smart money concept is indicating that we have a weak low. And in fact, if I go back to the hourly chart, we do have a weak low that's been signaled, whereas on the daily chart, we have a strong low that's been signaled. And you can recall in my previous videos where this previous local low at 51.1 cents had a strong low that's been signaled, yet that was broken. And so just because smart money concept is indicating that we have a strong low, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is a strong possibility that we will not breach past this level. And as things stand at the moment, we are still slightly bearish. In fact, if I go on a 4-hour chart, what you can see is, despite the bulls having the opportunity to regain control of the market, again, we failed to retest that 50 EMA, which is a bearish signal. And so as things stand at the moment, I'm still looking for a deeper move to the downside, where we could potentially be within a bigger WXY structure, and then we see a bigger move to the downside. And so, in fact, if I mark up the next key target and go back to the 5-minute chart, so the next key target will be the 50 to 88.2% retracement of this wave structure. So I believe we ended up topping off there. So let me zoom in. Yeah. So the next key target will be anywhere between 51.44 cents to 52.87 cents. So anywhere within this region here. And so it's possible that we have a bigger double XY structure forming, where this would be the W wave, this would be the X wave, and this would be the Y wave. And if ADA was to breach past this region, then that would then confirm that we topped off at 54.81 cents, and we set a deeper move to the downside where we then breach past this local low at 51 cents. And so, yeah, that's just my update on Cardano ADA. Hopefully you found it useful, and if you did, then feel free to hit that like button, and if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Take it easy, people. Peace.